Colored pens up. Today we start the process of reviewing the entire year of Algebra 1 Honors and preparing ourselves for the EOC, which is in 2 weeks. So, let's see how we did with this concept. Number 1, what did you get? Start with Michaela, Nathaniel, and then Stephanie. Okay? Okay? Okay, so we do have some disagreement. Extol, what'd you get? So we get x is greater than or equal to -2, and your graph should have been on a number line. This is 0, -1, -2. You should have had a solid dot, and then a colored in line, like that. Number 2, what did you get? Start with Chris, then Sebastian, then Matthew, then Valerie. All right, I'll come back to you in 30 seconds. Sebastian. Okay. Okay, so I think that's what you were trying to say. Valid? So, the way you read it is from the variable. You start at the x and you say x is greater than or equal to -4 and less than 4. Your graph should have been, this is a 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Should have had a solid dot on top of the -4, an open dot on top of the 4, and then shading in between. Comments, questions, concerns, issues, anything at all. Anything at all. Nothing? Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you drew a different type of graph. Good. It takes a little time to have all the memories and all the different ideas come back to you. And that's our goal between now and 2 weeks from now. For everything to be clear and back to the forefront of your mind. You've mastered each individual idea, but you haven't addressed some of them for months. It's expected that the first time you see it, you might go, I don't remember this at all. But as we do it, everything should be coming flooding back to you. Okay? Anyone have any comments or questions? Good. So, I'm going to give you a packet. Take one, pass the rest behind you, please. You may not write anywhere on these. I'm using them with all of my classes. And I'm going to go more in depth about this idea in a moment, but there are 3 different levels of questions on the EOC. and I have mentioned them before. There are low-level questions, moderate level, and high level. Everyone in the room has to get all the low-level correct. Everyone in the room is going to get all the moderate level correct, and you might make a mistake on one here or there. The difference maker is the high-level questions. So since I already expect everyone to get all the low-level questions right, then we need to focus on the moderate level and the high level, and that's what we're going to start doing today. Your brain is going to be pushed. You're going to see things that you're not going to remember. You're going to have to try and remember, and you're going to have to do something. Don't spend too much time on any one question. However, the goal is to be able to do every question and try to have some recollection of what you were supposed to do. We are going to go over every question as long as time allows us. We're going to go over every question that I have scheduled for today. We are not doing the entire test. We're doing actually about 1/4. Okay? The idea is to learn. There will be a couple of mini lessons, and there's going to be a couple of themes that you're going to see. One major theme that you're going to see over and over again, reading. Reading. The word reading is going to come up over and over again. So, your job, starting in about 30 seconds, is to complete chunk number 1, which is going to be the first page, numbers 1 through 6. You are going to have 2 minutes per question. That's 12 minutes. If I need to extend it by a couple of minutes, I will. But at some point, I have to cut it off, because if I don't, then I won't finish everything I want to finish today. Does anyone have any questions on what you're going to do? To the best of your ability, complete questions 1 through 6. If you have any concerns or questions about anything, raise your hand and I will come to you. Of course, go ahead and begin. Colored pens up. Let's see how we did so far. Number 1 is 39. Number 2 is 4. Number 3 is A. 4 is C. Number 5 is -52. Number 6 is C. Go ahead and make a fraction. Total number you got correct out of 6. We're going to keep a running total as we go along. And we are going to go over every question. However, low-level questions will be quite quick. Okay? If you got a low-level question wrong, this is not the time to get upset or frustrated. 2 weeks until the EOC. The idea is to figure out the little tricks and idiosyncrasies and little silly things to make sure we don't mess up on within the next 2 weeks. All right? So I already know where the issues are because Here we go. Number 1. Give me a thumbs up if you got number 1 correct. Thumbs up. Make it clear so that I can see. Give me a thumbs up if you got number 1 correct. Good. Put your thumb down. So that's just about everybody. I am going to give one piece of advice. Anytime you see something in function notation means f of g or f of x. Excuse me, let me fix that. F of g or f of x or something like that. That's function notation. I would change it immediately. I would replace the function notation with a y. So it's right here, and it's in the equation. I would literally go on my paper, and I would rewrite this as y, and rewrite this as y. And then it says, last year he paid $2,065 as the golfing fee. And it says the yearly golfing fee is y. So then you know that $2,065 is going to go here, solve the equation. It's a simple two-step equation. This is about as low level as it can get. Not trying to make anybody feel bad, but I'm telling you right now, between now and next week, 2 weeks from now, if you can't work out a question like this, then unfortunately you should be nervous. And we have to work that out. Any comments, questions about number 1? Good. Number 2, give me a thumbs up if you got it correct. Put your thumb down. I'll be honest with you. I feel strongly that every single person should have gotten this correct. No questions asked whatsoever. It's the exact same thing as number 1. Again, the same piece of advice. You see function notation, change it to a y, change it to a y. So y is 14, which means the equation becomes 14 equals 3x plus 2. That is a two-step equation. Nathaniel. That's fine. That's fine. Again, I'm really addressing the students who are getting these wrong. So if you got it right and you got number 1 right, then clearly you understand the concept and you know what you're doing. Anyone have any other comments or questions? Number 3, give me a thumbs up if you got it correct. Good. Alexandra, when we say domain, what are we really talking about? The x values. You said that beautifully. And so where on the graph should I really be looking? John? You said that. You said exactly what I was hoping you were going to say. You're looking at the x-axis, and the beginning of the graph is right here. The end of the graph is right here. And so what's this and what's this? This is -5, and that's +3. That's the smallest number, that's the biggest number. If it asked for the range, what should I be looking at? If I was asked for the range, Caleb? You should be looking at the y values in the y-axis. What's the highest and what's the lowest? Okay? Any comments, questions on number 3? Good. Here's where things got a little nutty. Number 4. Number 4, give me a thumbs up if you got number 4 correct. I'll be honest with you. Go ahead and put your thumbs down. So that was 2 people. And I'll be honest with you. I got the question wrong too. So I'll say this. I actually think it's a bad question. And if you put, most of you probably put A. If you put A, you're not marking it right, but if you put A, that's reasonable. Because I think the wording of the question is pretty bad, and the structure of the question is pretty bad. Because it sort of makes you believe that the $5 processing fee has been already calculated within this total cost. It's a bit misleading. So I would not beat yourself up about this one. However, it was a reading issue. Because it did try to tell you, did try to indicate what will it cost to take 10 classes. I guess maybe it could have been better. What would the total cost be to take 10 classes? Putting that word total probably would have made a difference. There was a couple of comments, questions. So, no questions anymore. Davis, you got a comment or question? Okay. Anything at all with number 4? Okay. Number 5. Give me a thumbs up if you got number 5 correct. Put your thumbs down. This is a low-level question. This is a low-level question. Everybody in the room must get this correct. So, where are my thumbs up people? Extol, what's the first thing you did?
I distributed.
Beautiful. You said that so fantastically. I'm impressed. You distributed on both sides. Very good. And what was the result? Can someone else give me the result after you do that? Chris? Beautiful. All my students who made a mistake somewhere, look at your work. See if your mistake is anywhere within that first line of work. Anyone find their mistake? Stephanie? Where? Here? Oh, so when you wrote it, when you copied it down, you just forgot it? Okay. All right, so from here, what's next? Sebastian, what'd you do next? Yeah. Okay. Common factors, so what are they? Well, those aren't common factors. Like terms, okay. I knew what you meant, but I wanted to get to that. Negative 4x minus 46 equals negative 3x plus 6. Very good. What's next? Where are my other thumbs up people? Caleb? You added 3x to both sides. That's fine. That disappears, and you get negative x minus 46 equals 6. Nathaniel? Yeah, well, considering what she did, then you would add 46 to both sides. Add 46. This cancels out. You get negative x equals 52. But then you have to flip it like a pancake because this says negative x. Flip it, and you get x is negative 52. Seems like a lot of work, but this is a low-level question. There's no thought involved. There's no decisions to make, really. Certainly nothing significant. Follow procedure. Any comments, questions? All right. Number 6. Give me a thumbs up if you got number 6 correct. Yeah, that's what I expected. 5 people, 6 people, put your thumbs down. All my students who got it wrong, do you see where you got it wrong? Could someone explain what you did wrong? Danielle, what did you do wrong? Okay, so what was your answer? Okay, so I said at the beginning that there was going to be a recurring theme, and it's already happened twice. This is a reading issue. It says, how many paperbacks did the store sell in both the months combined? They make it seem like you read this whole thing and then they give you this equation. It seems clear that you're going to need to solve the equation. So you go ahead and solve it. And so you do x minus 0.1x, you get 0.9x equals 18,000. X equals 20,000. And since I'm stressed out and I'm not paying attention, and 20,000 is right there, I'm going to stop and put 20,000. But the question did not ask that. It said, how many paperbacks did the store sell? And here was the key reading part. X represents the number of paperbacks sold the previous month. That's what we just found. 20,000 the previous month. Now we have to add that to the 18,000, and that's why we get 38,000. Nothing hard about that. One extra step, and it was all because of reading. Anyone have any comments or questions about that? Okay, so we've done one set of questions, and now you've seen that the level of reading is pretty high. A lot of detail. Not hard math-wise, but reading a key part. Anyone have any comments or questions about that? All right, chunk number 2. You're going to do the next page, 7 through 12. It is double-sided, so it is on the back. This is another 6 questions. One thing to be aware of, number 9 is in there. I had to smush this all together. I took all the questions from a different resource, and I had to kind of condense it as much as I could so it wasn't printed on too many pages. So number 9 is in there. Make sure you don't skip over number 9. All right? So we got 12 minutes for 6 questions. Go ahead and begin. All right, once again, colored pens. Let's see how we're doing. Number 7 is C. Number 8 is A. 9 is 600. 10 is A. 11 is C. And 12 is also C. Now we've done a total of 12 questions. Count up the number you've got correct. Make a fraction out of 12. 9 out of 12 would be a 75%. And now this is part of the learning process. So our job now is to learn from our mistakes. So I'm going to go question by question and survey. Number 7, give me a thumbs up if you got this correct. Put your thumbs down. All of my students who did not get it correct, your colored pen is in your hand, ready to go. So, my thumbs up students, what was the first thing you did? First thing you did, John? Solved for x. And here's another situation just like before where you're kind of led to believe that you should solve the equation. Well, it turns out to be true in this case. You do need to solve the equation. So, it seems like it's a bit of a beast of an equation, but it's really not that big a deal. You've got distribute, 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 and you end up with 20x plus 15x plus 20x minus 20 plus 15x minus 15 equals 245. And then you just have a bunch of like terms. You've got 20x, 15x, 20x, 15x. 20 and 20 is 40, 15 and 15 is 30, so you end up with 70x minus 35 equals 245. John, when you solved that, what did you get? You get x equals 4. Doesn't take long to figure out that that's not one of the answers and something else is going on here. So someone explain what's going on here. What's going on, Sebastian? That's right. That's a number of days, but that is not what you were asked. You were asked, what is the total amount Dan paid? How do we get the amount he paid? Fun? Okay. Well, where'd you get the 280 from? Okay. Okay. Well, you got a little bit lucky. I mean, it worked out, and you're not the only one who did that, but that's not really what's happening, because it actually says that Dan rented for a day more than Lisa. It says Lisa rented the chair and umbrella for 1 day less. Should Dan be paying half? He should be paying more. And in fact, he is. So could someone articulate exactly how do we get the right answer? Michaela?
Add the product of 20 times 4 and 15 times 4.
Wow, I love the way you explain that. Why 20 times 4? What is that? Hold on, let me write that down. What does the 20 times 4 get you? No, I'm saying, I know what the number is. I'm saying, what is that? 20 times 4. Well, what? 80 what? $80. What's the $80 for? The lounge chair, that's right. That's the $80 for the lounge chair. And then you said, what was the second thing? 15 times 4. And that's 60. And what's that for? The umbrella. So this is the amount of money spent on the lounge chair. That's the amount of money spent on the umbrella. And the two of them together is $140. So this is a higher level question because you had to use what you found to then find an amount of money. This is the second time this has happened within 12 questions. The first time was the question where you had the amount of books sold. You solved an equation, but then you had to use the answer. So you now need to start getting used to this. It's not enough to be able to solve an equation. You then have to use your answer to do something. Does anyone have any questions or comments about that? Okay? Number 8, I don't even want to know you if you got it wrong. Number 9. Give me a thumbs up if you got number 9 correct. Number 9 correct. Put your thumbs down. Very good. Guess what? I had to read it like 4 times to understand it. But I did get this one right. But I had to read it like 4 times. Give me a thumbs up if you're pretty sure you had to read it a couple of times or more just to kind of get the understanding. Good. I appreciate your honesty. Very good. So, Janae, what did you do to get this correct?
First, log and I wrote down the stuff.
Okay.
First, I multiplied the 20 minutes times 67, and I divided by 2. And that's how
Okay. Well, you got quite a bit lucky. You divided by 2 because there's 2 different parts of the workout? Okay, so unfortunately you got a little bit lucky, and so we want to make sure that we are getting things correct for the right reason, okay? So it's good that this happened now and not on the EOC, so now we need to learn. So, what is the actual thing that's going on here? So, someone who can explain. Only 3 people can explain? I find that hard to believe. Nathaniel, go ahead.
So I have to have a 40-minute workout, and there's a certain number of calories that I burn for a certain number of minutes. So every minute you burn 20 calories per minute running, and 10 calories per swimming. And if you only run 20 minutes out of a 40-minute workout, how many minutes are there in the entire workout? And so you get 20 leftover minutes, and so you're not.
Hold on. That's not what you're being asked. How many minutes is left over? That was a good explanation of what's going on, but let's not make things more complicated than they are. Yes, I said you had to read it a bunch of times, but the point of reading it a bunch of times was to get it straight. Okay? So the 20 minutes, go ahead.
So leftover 20 minutes, you have to times those by 10, since those are leftover swimming.
Okay, but you didn't address the first 20 minutes. So you went on to the second 20 minutes, but you didn't address the first 20 minutes. So let's try to be organized for the students who are not understanding. That's what we're trying to help them. Because you got it right, correct? Okay. So we've got 20 minutes. So everyone's got their colored pen ready. We need to learn this. Okay? Because mathematically, this is an easy question. It was a reading issue. Again, there it is again. So I'm going to help Nathaniel along, and he's going to continue in a second. But it says, how many calories? How many calories will you burn in your 40-minute workout if you run for 20 minutes? So start with the 20 minutes of running. 20 minutes running. How many calories did we burn there, Nathaniel?
You burn 400.
How did you get the 400?
You multiply 20 times 20.
Very good. Because it's 20 minutes times 20 calories for running. 20 times 20 equals 400 calories for running. But then Nathaniel caught on to the second part. And the second part was what, Nathaniel?
You multiply the leftover 20 minutes times 10 calories that you burn per minute swimming.
There's 20 minutes of swimming. 20 minutes of swimming. But swimming does not burn as many calories as running. You only burn 10 calories per minute swimming. So you multiply times 10, and you get 200 calories burnt swimming. And now you have to add the 2 together, and you get 600 calories. So it's all about reading and interpreting. That is it. Comments, questions about this one? Concerns? Number 10, you should have been able to do. Number 11 was the same thing. And number 12 was a low level question. So, we're going to do our last chunk of the day. Now we've got 5 questions. 5 questions. You've got 10 minutes. today, colored pens up. Let's see how he did with chunk number 3. Number 13 is A. Number 14 is C. Number 15 is 675. Number 16 is D. Number 17 is C. We have done today a total of 17 questions. Make a fraction out of 17 and figure out what your percent would be. $13 out of 17 would be a decent start. That would be about a 76%. 12 out of 17 wouldn't be too bad. If you got lower than that, it doesn't mean anything. The only thing that matters is where you end up 2 weeks from today. But I do want to get a sense of how we're doing so far. So give me a thumbs up if you got, let's say, what was 12 out of 17? Anyone have 12 out of 17? 71? Give me a thumbs up if you got 71% or better. 71% or better. Good. Put your thumbs down. Good. That was a lot of people. Excellent. So now let's go over one question. This question, not hard. Low level. This question, a little bit involved, and you had to read it, but it ends up ridiculously easy. Give me a thumbs up if you got number 14 correct. Good. Put your thumbs down. That's what I expect. Number 15 was where things went a little nutty. And this is not a high-level question. This is a moderate-level question. There's one issue that I want to address. And I want to address how you figure out 4%, or how you work 4% into an equation. How do you work 4% into an equation? How do you write it? Valerie? 0.04. And so, in this case, you were not told what x is equal to. But it says how much were Mia's art sales. So if you define x as the art sales, then from there you can construct an equation. She earns 4% of her sales. How do you find 4% of a number? What do you do with the 4% and the number? Like if I wanted to find 4% of 6,000, how do I do that? John? No, you can't. Not really. But yeah, you multiply it by 0.04. When you find percent of a number, you're multiplying. And so if you want to find 4% of art sales, then that's written as 0.04x. But that's not it. Where are my thumbs up people? What else must be included into the equation? Kayla? The $300. She gets $300 no matter what. $300 plus 4% of some number. And she made $327, so that has to come out to 327. Solve the equation. Subtract 300 from both sides. You get 0.04x equals 27. Divide both sides by 0.04. And you end up with x equals 675. The key point here, and you need to get this into your mind to continue using this moving forward. It's going to come up a bunch of times. Is how do you change 4% into something that can be used in an equation? That is it. Anyone have any comments or questions? Number 16, low level, extremely low level. Number 17, extremely low level. Nothing to do. You just have to know what it's supposed to look like. That's it. Any comments or questions? All right, draw a line across your paper, your homework. In the Algebra Nation workbook, you are going to complete through page 50. That means all pages up through page 50 by Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. 9:30 a.m. or shortly after that, I'm going to pull a report from Algebra Nation to see whether or not you have completed your assignment.